I'm an Air Force airman. I am a bow hunter. I am a fisherman. I am Mark of all trades. These two knives are my everyday carry, and they're both so versatile, and I'm going to give you all the information on why you should carry these. What's going on, everybody? So today we're going over two knives. We have the Gerber Gator, and we have the Gerber Rescue, again made by Gerber. So we're going to be going over these two knives today, and I'm going to tell you why you need to have these in your everyday carry. So first we're going to start off with the Gerber Gator. And this is a pretty awesome knife. So a little backstory on this one. This is the exact same knife that my dad has, but he's had it for almost the lifetime that I've been alive. So that tells you how great of a knife that this is. So this is my knife that I take out whenever I'm going hunting. I do not leave this at home whatsoever. This blade is incredibly sharp, and it's gonna last for a long time. You can just tell by the quality that it is that you're getting your money's worth out of this. And right now on the Gerber website, you can get this for $37. So it's a pretty good steal if you really think about how long this Gerber knife is gonna last you. This knife has stayed sharp whenever I'm, field dressing an animal, or even if I'm just using it for everyday things, whenever I'm just cutting a piece of rope, or I just need my knife, I know that this is going to be reliable and it's going to be sharp. One of the cool things about this is that it's got a contoured handle, and it's got almost like a rubberized feeling around the grip, and it really gives you that firm handle that you have on the knife, and it's super nice, and it fits pretty much all hand styles, whether you have a big hand, small hands, medium hands, whatever you are that you fall into that category. This knife grip is so cool and so nice, and it's got the easy flip on it too. It just really comes undone really nicely. You hear that lock into place, and you really can't beat that. It's not going anywhere. And so one of the things that I'm not sure why, maybe you guys can tell me in the comments, it's got the 3/4 lock. It's not a full lock, it's almost like a stop. So once you open this up, you heard it kind of click, it's in like a 3/4 kind of stop, and it's not going anywhere. If you guys can tell me in the comments what that's for, I've tried to look it up and I don't really know the purpose of that, so I'm curious to know what it is. But once you get it to the full position, it's locked sturdy in there, and it's super nice. And the cool thing about this Gerber knife, for me personally, is that it's engraved. My dad got it for me, and you can see right there that it has my initials on it. So I thought that was really cool. It's a nice personable touch that Gerber makes happen. So it's definitely in the blade. You can't really feel it, and I like it a lot. So this knife weighs 5.4 ounces. With the blade open from the end of the handle to the tip of the blade, it's going to be 8.54 inches. Some awesome features about this is that it has a gator grip handle texture, and it's fully contoured. So that's super nice. Once you pull the knife all the way out, it has a lock-in back design. So in order to unlock it, you have to use the little silver part of the backing handle to push in, and that'll depress the handle for you to fully collapse the knife. It's got a ballistic nylon sheath. It's got a limited lifetime warranty, and it's a full flat grind blade. That's super nice, and it's 154 cm steel with a backlock again on the handle. So one of the things that maybe most people might be looking for, depending on what you're going to use this knife for, is that there's no pocket clip for it. But again, it comes with a pretty decent carry-all that you can put the knife into, and it just velcros right over the top. So once you put it in there, it's definitely secure. Even if you don't get the velcro all the way down on it to secure it, the knife snugs in there and fits super well, so that you know that when you're out doing whatever you're doing, that knife's not going to fall out. So that's a really good concept that Gerber put together so that you know you're not going to lose your tools. So one of the cool things about the blades that Gerber makes is that you can really tighten or loosen how well you want this blade to come out. So one of the ways that you can do that is just by taking an Allen wrench, and you can put it right here where the blade comes together, and by just tightening or loosening that, you can dictate how well the blade comes out of the hand. Let me know what your knife for your everyday carry is, or what knife you prefer to take into the hunting woods whenever you're out there. I'm curious to know what brand is everyone's favorite. So now we're on to the next one. This is the Gerber Rescue by Gerber. So just a little fun fact is that this knife was actually made by a firefighter. He designed it and made it. So this is more geared towards your first responders, medical personnel out in the field like that. This has a lot of things that you really wouldn't think of just off the spot, but when you're in a clutch situation, it'll definitely help you. So some of the features are, it has a hook cutter, there's a safety slice for seat belts. There's also a window punch at the end of the handle. There's an oxygen tank valve opening. And on this one too, there is also a limited lifetime warranty. And near the hole punch in the back, there is a spot that you can put a lanyard. With this knife also comes a toolkit, and it's almost functioning like a multi-tool. And that'll fit right into the sheath when you store your blade, and all your tools will fit into there as well. So one of the things that I wanted to show you that a lot of knife companies are starting to incorporate is the window punch on the end of the handle. And so I know a lot of people are, questioning on how to use this sometimes, and it's not easy. Most of the time it's not going to be easy, I'll put it that way. So when you're using this, I'm promising you from experience, you're going to want to have your gloves on. You're not just going to have some rinky-dink gloves on, medical gloves or whatnot. If that's all you have, then that's all you have. You're going to want to have some structural gloves, because when you're using this, you don't want to have your hand down like this whenever you're punching the window. You want to have your hand up at the top. Give you, a little bit of the thumb on top, and you have a firm grip, so then when you actually punch the window, this is what's going to catch most of the glass, not your hand, because you're going to go through it, and you don't want your hand to be the first thing to go through it. So just a little tip if you're ever in a bind and you need to use this. So near the bottom by the hole punch, as we're making our way towards up the top, you can see here that you can use this little hole in here for an oxygen cylinder turn-on valve. So if you don't have the key for it, this can act as your key for the oxygen cylinder. And then on the other side, if you flip it over, so there's the key valve. If you flip it over, you can see here that this is your seatbelt cutter right here. And I'm not sure how it happened, but mine kind of jammed up, and my screw is a little bit tight. It's more tight than what it should be, and I can't force it out. It's just too tight. So I got to go back and see if I can't find a hex head to unscrew that. But you can see here that it's super sharp. And once you let it out, it's going to be able to give you that hook effect. So once you pull back on it, it'll cut seatbelts like nobody's business. It's super sharp and it's reliable. So if you're ever in that situation, you're just going to need to flip that open. And if you're in the dark, you can just travel along the edge of the other side of the blade. So obviously you're not going to cut yourself, and you know that you can find that super easy. I think that's what makes this design so well, is that this was made along the spine of the handle, so that you can find this in the dark and you can use it without having to actually have eyes on. So that was a really good idea by Gerber and the design team. So I'm not sure if some of you guys like this or not, but Gerber did put the pocket hook on here. So not only does it come with the carrying device, the sheath, it also comes with a pocket clip. So if that's more of your fancy, where you like to just put this in your pocket, by all means, you don't have to carry it around, and it's a little bit more concealed. Moving over, you can see from the pocket clip, we have the thumb barrels right here. Some people call them the thumb studs. These are pretty cool. They're oversized right now, and that's kind of the way that I prefer them. But you can always take off the screws on here. There's a smaller thumb barrel underneath this. So the whole reason why they put the larger ones on this Gerber is, again, based around first responders. So first responders are always going to have gloves on at the scenes. So if they need to get into this, they have the oversized barrels when their gloves are on that they can actually feel it, and it'll actually come up just like that. So it's meant to help you, but if you don't want to go that route, you can always take these off, and there's a smaller one underneath here. We have the blade open, and you can see that it's got the serrated edges on the actual blade. For me personally, I'm not a big fan of serrated edges. I prefer just a nice clean blade. When I was stationed in Korea, my department ended up giving these out, so that's how I ended up with this this knife. And I'm a big fan of Gerbers, but like I said before, I just prefer the actual sharp blade at the end. So when you have your knife fully extended like this, you're gonna want to eventually take your blade down. And again, if you have gloves on, this is another feature that's super nice, is you just pull this little pin down right here and your blade comes down like that. So that's a super nice feature. It's easy to use. If you got a bunch of gloves on, it's easy to close. So Gerber did a great job with that. It's a great design. I'm a big fan of it. The grip of this is kind of similar to the Gerber Gator, but the thumb hole isn't as aggressive. So you can see that right there. It's more of a straight design versus a curved handle. But there's nothing wrong with that. Again, this is made for first responders. You're not going to be using it too long. This is just for quick things that you may need. And so I can kind of understand that. The grip on it is a little rough, and you can definitely feel the texture on here, but it's nothing to write home about. It's just hard plastic, you know? So it's okay. It definitely gets the job done. You can see that I have some, wear and tear on here. So when I'm at work, I really like to have this on me. Again, it's a multi-function tool, and for me personally, I don't like using the toolkit because I feel it's just more bulk added to, my pockets and everything else, and the screws and bolts are all, this big, and I don't really like having a bunch of small stuff in my pocket, that I'm just fiddling around with. And 9 times out of 10, I don't even really use the attachments that this was made for. If I need something like that, I can always just go to the rig and just grab that stuff out of the truck. So this is the sheath that comes with it. On the back, there's a quick disconnect of a button that can just fit into your belt, and it'll just fit into that way. If you want to put this onto a backpack, you can. So that's another good way that you can use that as well. There's molly webbing on the back. So again, if you're trying to incorporate this into a backpack, it'll really stay on there really well. Coming to the front, there's a Velcro with a button on the top. So you can see that there. Take off the Velcro. Again, the knife can fit in here pretty decently well. And so it fits in there really snug. The clip fits right on top. So it's not going anywhere once the clip's in. But if you were to put the clip behind here, it could eventually slip out if you don't have this Velcroed or buckled. In the front here is where the tools belong. Again, like I said, I don't have the tools with me. I don't like carrying it that way. So it's just easier for me to carry it like this, and that's just the way that I prefer it. Gerber makes great knives, and I'm a big fan of them. I think I always will be, and these 2 knives will probably last me a lifetime if I take care of them, just like anything else. So I think that it just depends on what you're looking for in a knife. I think this is really good for versatility, and I feel like you can get a lot of things done with just this one knife. But the same can go for this. This knife is very sharp, and it's reliable, and I know that if I'm trying to go into the deer hunting woods, this is definitely something that I need to take with me. If you guys enjoyed this review of these Gerber knives, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about them. Would you get these? Would you not? I'm curious to know what you guys think. I appreciate you tuning into the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'm an Air Force airman. I am a bow hunter. I am a fisherman. I am Mark of all trades.